Well, cleanup continues this morning in western Kentucky. One of the many hardest hit areas was in Mayfield. That's where we find my co-anchor, Dave Davis, right now with sharing more with how cleanup efforts are going. Dave.
Abby, quite the change that we're seeing down here. I mean, working extremely fast. These folks are really resilient down here. The reason we're standing here, or the spot that we're standing in, this is actually the first place that we came to shortly after the storm here. Right behind me here, Mexican grocery store that we had referenced. The street just filled. We could hardly walk through here. I mean, all the networks are right here. Everyone was kind of crammed into the spot because you really couldn't get through the city. Now, able to move around here. We're starting to see a lot of progress being made. I mean, right over here was the corner of 8th Street sign that we talked about. One of the other things I wanted to point out is, I'm not sure if we can pick it up with the camera. It's really dark still back here, but it's about a 5-story building. I believe that's the old Hill Hotel. And the windows on this thing, all but just a few have been boarded back up all the way to the top there. So you're able to see just how much work they've been able to get done in here. The other thing that's going on is this area is now blocked off as well to traffic. They have these big road closed signs up right here blocking off to downtown. And we're sure that they're getting ready to start some major demolition work to probably tear out the old buildings here that are just not fixable. We're seeing generators also lining up the street here, big diesel generators. So just a lot of work being made. You can definitely see the progress. The other thing is Nick's been talking about with the weather. The weather's not too bad this morning. Actually, quite the change from yesterday morning. I mean, right now we can't even hardly see our breath. But you know, it's not just Mayfield that is undergoing a lot of renovation right now. We do know that our News 3's Danny Vallier was in Caldwell County checking it out there.
I've never seen a tornado or damage this bad from a storm in our county, you know, here. This is the worst I think that I can remember.
Princeton and Caldwell County Fire Chief Brent Francis says downtown Princeton was spared, but parts south of town suffered extensive damage.
You wouldn't even have known a home was there, you know. I mean, it is cleaned to the ground or cleaned to the concrete slab. There might be a set of steps sitting there, and that's all that's there. Going east on Route 62, drivers will see the remains of the debris pushed to the side of the road. Dawson Springs resident Kelly Wolf and her family huddled together in their home that they built and moved into just 5 months ago. Their new home, now battle-tested.
We saw the wall move in about 2 feet, and then you hear that just kind of deafening. It was just kind of silence, really. And then it was done.
But the Caldwell County Daycare Center wasn't so lucky. It suffered a direct hit from those storms over the weekend. A group of children were actually inside during those storms, but thankfully they all survived. But Chief Francis says 4 people in Caldwell County have lost their lives.
They were found right there.
One of those lives was a man named Larry, according to his brother Tom, who walked us through what used to be Larry's home. Larry's wife is at Vanderbilt in critical condition. Tom wonders what could have been, but he now has to focus on what he can do now for his family.
What a mess. What a change of life it'll be for them.
And then, of course, President Joe Biden is planning to visit western Kentucky. That is tomorrow. He said that he's going to be heading to Fort Campbell area first, and then he's going to come on down to Mayfield and the Dawson region to survey the damage here as well. For now, though, reporting live in Mayfield, Dave Davis, News 3.
Well, many residents are sifting through the damage, looking for personal items. We hear from people in Dawson Springs, Kentucky, who describe what they're going through during this time of recovery.
It's horrible. It's the definition of hell on earth. People's lost everything, and it's terrible. It's horrible.
Being a veteran of that many years, you have a lot of medals and things, and we were just trying to salvage what we can of that and of what was left, of the few things that we had left of our childhood.
It wasn't too long. I think she had it on her phone. The whole thing lasted like 4 minutes from the time we started to the basement till it was over. And I stuck my head out just to see what was, after we heard everything stopped, stuck my head out and I looked up with my flashlight to the edge of the house and I noticed there was no wall there. And that's when I told my wife, I said, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm warning you when we go up there that I don't think the house is there, it's gone. And sure enough, that end of the house was gone when we finally got out.
And we will continue our coverage from Kentucky a little later on in the newscast. Well, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, better known as OSHA, started an official investigation into the Amazon warehouse collapse that happened Friday night in Edwardsville, Illinois, as those storms moved through the area. 6 workers were killed. 45 others were trapped inside for hours, but later rescued. The mother of one of those workers killed says there are no words to describe her loss.
So after the storm passed, I tried to get a hold of him several times. I texted, I called. And from him being in the military, he knows better than to ignore his mother. So about 4:30 in the morning, I guess, the coroner, and I believe it was the Wood River fire chief, came to the car and told us that they had located a body that had his driver's license. So obviously then, we had our answer.
Amazon says the building was 1.1 million square feet. Much of that has now been leveled. Well, Governor J.B. Pritzker is taking action to make sure those impacted by the tornado damage in Illinois get help. Governor Pritzker has issued a state of disaster proclamation for the counties impacted. Yesterday, he toured damage in parts of Illinois, including the mangled Amazon warehouse. Governor Pritzker says the state owes a special debt of gratitude to the first responders who helped save lives.
They moved heaven and earth to respond to this disaster, reuniting families when they could and comforting loved ones in the tragic situations where they couldn't.
Edwardsville and surrounding areas saw massive power outages over the weekend. Governor Pritzker says power in that area has now been fully restored. And you can find all of our ongoing coverage on these historic storms, including how to donate and how to get involved in emergency efforts for those impacted. Just head to our website at WSILTV.com.
Whether it's storm cleanup or yard cleanup, should be a pretty decent day for it today. Looking ahead to Wednesday, a chance for a couple showers overnight tonight and into Wednesday morning, and then more wet weather on the way towards the end of the week. This afternoon, expecting dry weather, but as we head into the evening hours, chances for a couple showers moving in from the west. Again, overall chances for rain low, and if you do pick up any rain, it is expected to be light. We are tracking some heavier rain by the end of the week. I'll tell you how much we're expecting coming up.
Still ahead, one family recounts being thrown 200 feet in the air during the tornado. We'll share their story when News 3 This Morning returns.
The whole